Welcome back to another video on Across the Board. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the NHL playoff picture like we did last week. This week, we have some new teams entering the playoff picture. Like usual, we're going to run through the Eastern and Western Conference. We're going to talk about just some interesting teams. We won't really talk about every team in depth. We'll talk about some big movers and some fallers. And then we'll kind of go over some interesting games this weekend, kind of going into next week. So a lot of good stuff. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna start in the Eastern Conference here. So in the Atlantic, we have Detroit, Montreal, Tampa Bay. Detroit has 47 points, Montreal 45, Tampa Bay 43. In the Metropolitan Division, we have the Carolina Hurricanes, the Philadelphia Flyers, and the New York Islanders. Carolina has 47 points, Philadelphia 45, New York Islanders 44. In the wild card slots, we have the Washington Capitals at 43 and the Florida Panthers at 42. Some teams on the bubble within 2 points of the Florida Panthers. The New York Rangers at 42 points, Ottawa at 41 points, New Jersey at 41, Boston at 41, Buffalo at 40. Um, and then you have Pittsburgh at 39, Toronto 37, Columbus at 36. Um, we're going to move over to the Western Conference now. Colorado was 61, Dallas 56, Minnesota 50 points. In the Pacific Division, we have the Golden Knights at 44, Anaheim at 44, and Edmonton also at 44. And in the wild card slots, the Kings at 39 and the Utah Mammoth at 39. Some teams on the bubble and the rest of the looking outside, looking in. San Jose at 37, Seattle at 36, Nashville at 36, St. Louis at 36, Calgary 34, Winnipeg 33, Vancouver 33, and Chicago 32. So that's kind of your run through the playoff picture, each of the conference currently. As you can tell, a lot of shifts between teams. So we'll start in the East, and we're really just going to kind of go over a couple teams here of late. Let's start with an Atlantic division. Let's talk about the Detroit Red Wings for a moment. This team has been playing well this year. In their last 10, they're 8-2. In their last 10, they've won 3 straight. John Gibson has won his last 8. More exciters playing at an elite level. Lucas Raymond playing well. What a group that they have here in Detroit. Playing good hockey. Again, Cam Talbot, and of course, talk about John Gibson playing well. This team is legit, playing well. I mean, we could definitely see them in the playoffs. I think we will see them in the playoffs as well as they're playing right now. Um, to me, a surprise, but they're playing good hockey right now. And this is where you want to play good and you want to get out ahead. We're at the Christmas break currently as I'm recording this. It's December 26th, the day after Christmas. During this break, so kind of going over all these teams. But Detroit has played well. Cam Talbot, and of course, talk about John Gibson, 8 straight wins. I think when your goaltending is going well as it is, and you're scoring 3-4 goals a game and you're able to win. I mean, it just helps out your team a lot. And of course, Sider playing well, Lucas Raymond playing well, young guys, really exciting for that team. And again, I think we can see them go far in the playoffs, and we'll see how they do in the East. I want to talk about Montreal for a moment. Um, a big storyline for them. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. They have won one in a row. Bauer, again, a young goalie, and he's been playing well. I think they lost in overtime to Pittsburgh. They were get an overtime win. They're playing well, scoring goals, getting great goaltending from Dubois and Bauer. Again, having good goaltending helps a lot. When they're holding teams to 2 goals a game, and you're able to score, and which the case they've been scoring a lot, finding the back of the net. They're playing well. Exciting to see those teams and just seeing how well they're playing. And it's awesome to see in that division. And then, of course, not surprised to see Tampa there. I don't really need to go into them, really. I mean, no surprise that they're there. But again, Detroit, Montreal, they're playing well. They're playing good hockey. So that's always good to see. Um, Metropolitan Division now. Carolina, no surprise there. They have lost 3 straight, though. one including a blown 5-3 lead. They had a 2-0 lead in third and led a 5 straight. But they're getting good goaltending from Bussy, and um, they're playing good hockey. And again, Aho in this team, I mean, again, they're going to play well. No concern there. They're going to make the playoffs. I mean, no surprise. We'll see them there, and I mean, they're going to play well. So no concern there. Philadelphia, what a surprise this team has been. Um, again, I think if I believe the third youngest team in the league. Um, Travis Konecny, Dan Vladar's playing well, and Trevor Zegras. What an amazing player. He was good when he was at Anaheim and brought that over to Philadelphia, and he's playing well. They've won 2 straight, 4-2-4 in their last 10, but playing good hockey and being a playoff team right now. We'll see if that sticks. And I think the same, again, I mentioned a young team and a big surprise this year in the league because, again, nobody thought they would be here at this point, and here they are playing good hockey, winning games. And we're talking about a very young roster. Um, Rick Tocchet, I mean, has coached his team well, and they're a young team. I mean, young team playing well. They're getting goals. They're getting saves. They're just playing good hockey. And then, of course, you have New York right here. Again, they've been playing well. 6-3-1 their last 10. Patrick Wall's got this team going. I mean, it's a good young team. Uh, they're going to play well, and we'll see. They make playoffs. Right now, they're in the playoff spot, but they're playing well. So, kind of, it's good to see them here, and so we'll see what they can do going forward. Talk about Washington for a moment. They have lost 3 straight, 3-4-3 in their last 10. They played Detroit twice. They had some defensive struggles. They gave up 7 goals the other night. They lost 7-3 to New York. Um, then against the Detroit Red Wings, they lost 5-2, but they gave up 24 shots after 2 periods of hockey, and you just can't do that. It's a lot of shots, a lot of work for Logan Thompson, and you got Charlie Lindgren in net for this Capitals team. But again, hit a little bit of a bump in the road, but a good group. I think there's nothing to worry about here. I think they'll bounce back. And again, they played a good Detroit team, so we'll see if they can get their struggles turned around. Then you got Florida here, huge comeback win the other night. Scored 5 goals in the third to beat out Carolina. Again, Paul Maurice, this team, no surprise that they're here. And I think what you have to keep in mind for the Eastern Conference is how tight this race is going to be. I mean, it may not be until January, or well, now this one may not be until February before we finally see a break, and we know who's going to miss and make the playoffs. So that's going to be something to pay attention to. And I mean, we'll just see what happens there going forward. Um, and then you look at these teams right here. Rangers, they're gonna get back. We'll see what they can do. Ottawa, they're 5-4-1 in their last 10, but they've been playing good of late. They took an overtime loss to Buffalo. New Jersey, they've lost 2, but I expect that team to get turned around. Again, Boston, they've lost 4 in a row. Very concerned with them. And again, they were the question mark team for me. They were a team wasn't sure if they would go to make the playoffs or not. And right now, they are not bound to make playoffs. But again, and the crazy thing about the East race, they've lost 4 straight, but they're only 1 point back. So anything can happen. We'll see that team get turned around again. Jerry Swingman, David Pastrnak, this team will get turned around. So they got to get turned around, and we'll see. Um, Now I want to stop here for a moment, and we're going to talk about these actually 2 teams here. We're going to talk about Buffalo and Pittsburgh for a moment, but I want to start with Buffalo. They've won 7 straight games. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we're sitting here talking about Buffalo winning 7 games, 2 points back of a wild card spot. They have played well. Luukkonen and Alex Lyon. Again, I stress about the goaltending. When you're getting good goaltending, you can win games. And you watch the last few games they played; they just played good hockey. It's efficient hockey. Um, you're getting good goaltending first off. That makes it easier for you. You don't have to score 3-4 goals a game. But you're getting a goaltending. But it's just you watch them. It's just efficient hockey they're playing. They're playing good hockey. They're just it's fundamentals, and they're playing good. again, 2 points back, 7-3 over the last 10. They've won 7 straight. I mean, could they make the playoffs? We don't know. They've obviously, again, a team that was sitting at the bottom. They have been sitting at the bottom. Um, I'm going to look up, I believe, and I meant to talk about it today a little bit, and I wasn't going to really get into it too much. But, they've made some moves in the office there for them, um, and I can't find the post I'm looking for that I meant to talk about. But they made some moves in the office, and they're playing well. There has been a contract. There'll be some talks about Alex Tuck and his future, but a good guy. For that team, Tage Thompson. Um, you know, this is just a. It's awesome to see Buffalo playing this well. I stress about it because, and this is awesome. Again, it's just awesome to see. And this is about how good hockey's been this year. They're right there. 36 games of the season, they have a chance to hop into a playoff spot. We'll see what they can do. We'll see if they can capitalize on the opportunity. But it's amazing to see what they're doing, and it's just incredible. Um, Not so incredible for Pittsburgh. Um, they made the trade. Um, Stuart Skinner, well, I say he's been playing great, not amazing, but I look at it like this. You look at their most recent game against Toronto. They lost 6-2. You watch that game. I mean, you look at the scoring change and the times they scored. I mean, they're just breakaways, 2-on-1s. Pittsburgh turned the puck over a ton. They're 1-5-4 in their last 10. It's just turnovers. They're ninth in the league in turnovers currently, but they're turning the puck over and over and over again. And last game, you look at the box score, you go, man, I mean, we lost 6-2. Stuart Skinner must not have played well, but I mean, you're asking a lot of them on breakaways, 2-on-1s. I mean, giving Toronto a chance to capitalize, and they did. Um, it's tough to see for a Pittsburgh fan because, again, at the beginning of the season, we were talking so much about them. Everybody was how exciting this was. Um, but it's unfortunate that they're playing this way. But shout out to Sidney Crosby for being the all-time points leader in Pittsburgh history, passing Lemieux for the most points in Pittsburgh history. So amazing for him, and that's awesome, and that's awesome to see. And the big thing is, again, Pittsburgh's only 3 points back. They can get this turned around. There's nothing to be plenty of season left. They're 36 games in. You have an 82 game season. There's nothing to be concerned for, but it is kind of concerning at the same time. Not playing well how they've been. But again, good news. You're only 3 points back. A lot of hockey left. You can get back to where you were. And that's kind of going to wrap up the East. We'll come back to the East later, just kind of with some news around there and kind of just player news and everything. Um, we don't really need to get into the Central too much. I mean, they're all playing well. They're all playing good hockey. I mean, there's not much to talk about. Colorado's playing well. Dallas well, and Minnesota playing well. I mean, there's not really much to say there. They're just playing well. Um, Colorado, Scott Wedgwood, Mackenzie Blackwood, good goalie tandem. Dallas, capitalizing on the chances they get. They're 29th in the league, I believe, in shots per game, but they're capitalizing. Minnesota playing good hockey since the Quinn Hughes trade, which we're going to get to that kind of later. But good to see for them, and that's awesome. Go to the Pacific Division. Again, nothing crazy here. Vegas back on track at 2 rough losses. Big news for them, though. Jack Eichel, Shea Theodore out of the lineup. Definitely saw the effect in that on the power play and against Calgary. And then Edmonton, again, fell behind early, but they seem to be getting things figured out. So we'll kind of pay attention to that as that goes along, and we'll see what they adjust. Bruce Cassidy, I'm sure, will. Anaheim, right where they are. Again, we talked about. I mean, they're going to be a playoff team this year. I think and again, everyone's talking about, are they going to be a playoff team still? Are they going to maintain that momentum? And they have. I think they'll continue to do that. I think they'll stay there in the Pacific Division spot, and they're playing good hockey. Again, we talk about a young team playing well. Logan Dostal um, playing well, or Luis Dostal playing well. Again, it's a young team. there are some veteran players on there on the team. But Leo Carlson's playing well, and again, it's just a young team being well coached. Playing good hockey, and the same goes for the Flyers, a young team but being well coached. And you're seeing right now they're playing well. They're going to be in the top of the Pacific Division somewhere. I think they'll have in that playoff spot, and we'll see. I think right now it's going to be a fight for the one spot. Vegas has it. They have two less games in Anaheim and three less games in Edmonton. So we'll see how that all plays out in that division. But exciting stuff. Nothing to talk about there. Obviously, big news with being Edmonton's turnaround, and we talked about it last video. But awesome to see there. Kings have lost 5-2 in their last 10. Um, they're winning game. I mean, they're winning games when they need to. Again, Darcy Kemper injury not great for them. A huge piece of their puzzle. But again, I think they'll get things turned around. And I mean, again, they have a playoff spot still. They are 5 points behind the Pacific Division, but I think they will still be in the playoffs. Right now, it seems like it's going to be a wild card, but you never know. Still a lot of hockey left, so they could easily climb into a Pacific Division spot. Utah, 4-6-0 in their last 10. They lost the other night. But, Vejmelka, goaltending's well. Keller's playing, good hockey. You've got again a team, again second year in the league, second year in existence. Of course, after removed from Arizona, but an interesting team to see here. I think this is one of those teams that I'm interested to see. Again, I think they're going to be a wild card team, without a doubt. Obviously, them being in the Central Division, I think those will be the three teams in the Central the entire year. The question is whether it'll be who's going to take the wild card. Utah could be an interesting team to see there. And they are that team that you're trying to look at and go, okay, is this going to be the final wild card or who will it be? I think, we're going to have a fight for the wild card spot. And we're going to kind of go into some teams here and kind of just, get a good look at all of them and kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. Again, Utah concerns here, they lead the league in giveaways, turnovers, and, turnovers, a big stat, a big number. And it's just, you look at football, the turnover margin, basketball, a lot of turnovers, and the hockey's the same way. And I think you look at, the Toronto Pittsburgh game was a prime example. That was, I think it was Tuesday night when they had played, or it was Tuesday when they played. The turnovers, costly turnovers, but great chances. And when you got guys, when you're playing guys with goal scorers, I mean, they're going to score. You put the thumb on the best guy's stick, he's going to score. That's something's got to get cleaned up for them. But, interesting to see what happens in this wild card spot. Again, just like the East, in the West, it's the same way. San Jose has lost 3 straight. Again, they're a young team. I didn't really expect them to make the playoffs, but they're still right there. Who knows? Again, a young team. Askarov, Macklin Celebrini, just a young group in general. And so we'll just see how they're able to play out the rest of the season if they make the playoff spot. If not, a respectable number if they've been playing. Again, no expectation for them to make the playoffs, but them being here is still cool to see. And again, we just don't know. They could make the playoffs. We'll find out. A couple other teams here. Nashville and Seattle. They've both won 3 straight. They're 3 points off. I talk about Seattle ironically because again, they had lost 9 straight. I was like, man, they're done. They sold Mason Marchment, which again we're gonna talk about him in a minute. But they're back here again, 3 points away. Again, there's gonna be a dogfight for that final wild card spot. I mean, will Utah maintain it? San Jose, Seattle, Nashville. What's gonna happen? And then you got St. Louis right there as well. 3 teams very capable of getting it turned around there. And of course, Calgary, and there's a bunch of teams here, Vancouver, Winnipeg. Realistically, though, I mean, if we're being realistic with the teams remaining on this list, I mean, if you were to ask me today who I think would take it, I would still stick with Utah. I think we kind of have that team. We have some veteran guys there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Nashville either. I think Nashville or Utah are the 2 teams for me that'll kind of get to that spot. And I think it'll be good to see if Nashville's playing for something this year. They're 7-3 in their last 10, but last year a disappointing. They made all the great offseason moves. a good playoff team we were thinking, and then just it was bad. It was a bad year, and we were all surprised seeing that. And you know, again, we talk about the offseason acquires, and the disappointing season. I believe they were last in the league, if not one of the bottom tier teams. This year, kind of the same thing, but now they're 3 points off. And again, who knows? If they can get hot, if they can stay hot like Buffalo, if Buffalo's been playing well, I mean, who knows? They could be in a wild card spot. So we'll pay attention to that. We'll see how that works out. And so that was your playoff picture. That's kind of everything. The main things I want to talk about this week with the playoff teams. Um, some news and kind of just more some notes to talk about here. Mason Marchman has got 3 goals in his 2 games with Columbus. Good for them. Great player. He's playing well, and that's awesome to see. And I want to talk about the one of the best trades. I think the most beneficial trade. I want to talk about the Quinn Hughes trade. Um, at one point after the trade, both teams were 4-0. Of course, playing that's good hockey, playing well. You love to see it. But you talk about it. With that being said, both teams being where they are, again, it's Vancouver, young group. They're gonna have to rebuild. But Z Boyum, you got Marco Rossi on that team. I think Vancouver's rebuilding the right way. They benefited with a good young talent in Z Boyum, and then you've got Minnesota, who Quinn Hughes, one of the best top defensemen in the league. He's playing well. Both teams making great acquisitions, and I think this is the most beneficial trade for these teams. I think Vancouver is set, and they can keep rebuilding off that. I think Minnesota is in a win now state, and they got Jesper Wallsted's playing well. You got the group to do it: Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek. I can keep going on. But they've got the team to do it. But the Central Division stacked, so I wouldn't be surprised. I think one of those teams could win the cup, but you just never know. Playoff hockey's different. Um, and then the last little note I want to talk about was a possibility of Marc Andre Fleury returning to the league. Um, I love the guy. I have his jersey at Vegas. He was one of my favorite. He's my favorite player. Um, he is my favorite player. Um, but it's interesting to see. A team looking for a goalie, and there's been some interest there. So who knows? He may get put on a roster, and that's something we'll all pay attention to going forward. But that was your playoff picture. I hope you all enjoyed it. Usually we'll try and get one out. We record every Friday for the playoff picture. Um, Again, a lot of teams will be moving in and out of this list, so just something to pay attention to. And I hope to see you all on the next episode.